This is the only baseball I've ever gotten outside of a gift shop at a major league stadium, and it nearly caused a fist fight. Hi, I'm Evan Davis. I hope you add some music to your day.
Add some music, just add some music right there.
One of the most eventful summers of my life was right before everybody was indoors for nearly a year and a half. I started the summer in China, ironically enough. From there, I moved on to Illinois, where I attended a leadership conference. Afterward, I went to Comic-Con, but most importantly, I spent the end of the summer toward my birthday doing the Great Northeastern Expedition, checking out state after state in the northeastern United States. The primary fun activity on this journey was seeing the Tampa Bay Rays playing the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Stadium, a very historical ballpark. Of course, the Tampa Bay Rays and Red Sox are division rivals, of which the Rays are pretty often division champs, at least nowadays. Of course, Florida, all things considered, somewhat far from Boston. And as you might imagine, there aren't too many fans of the Rays at your average Fenway game. Being the baseball fan that I am, of course, I wanted to take the opportunity to potentially catch a ball. Whether it be a foul ball, home run, general toss-up, whatever. I would just be very happy to get something for my troubles, which of course means I brought the old glove into the stadium. Of course, wanted to get there a little bit early, the potential to catch some batting practice, home runs, also just check out the seat, check out the stadium. I hadn't been to Fenway before, although we did take a very nice tour that morning. During the player warm-ups, of course, some gentlemen over from the Rays roster finally noticed me. I was wearing a very similar outfit, and as you can imagine, this kind of stands out in the sea of red and white, as most people are wearing. Now, I didn't have the hat back in the day. I was a little uppity about my hair, especially how uppity it went. We call this the big hair era. But regardless, of course, I was a very standout Rays fan in this crowd. And the gentleman, he was only wearing shin pads, so I wasn't exactly sure who it was. I checked the pictures later. It was not the bullpen coach or the bullpen catcher for the Rays. He underhands me a ball, and I go to reach it, right? Try to catch. Now, Buddy kind of soft serves it because he wasn't that far away. There's a family sitting in front of me, okay? Of course, I'm not going to do the very rude thing and, jab, try to catch a ball, especially because there's a whole family there, right? There's kids who didn't have gloves. Now, ball ricochets, nobody gets it. Gentleman sitting next to me leans down, picks it up. He's there with his grandson. He hands it to me. I say thank you. He rips me about not catching it, despite being the only person in the section with a glove. Of course, I make a joke. I just appreciate getting a ball. This is my first, and so far, only, of course, that I've gotten at the Major League Stadium. Now, as time goes on, we're going through the game. Things are getting a little tense. The Flappy Boys, as I call them, are just creaming the Red Sox. Run after run, home run here, home run there. Historically, the Rays have done pretty well on my birthday, right? Back in 2017, I believe Evan Longoria even hit for the cycle on that day. And since 2017, I believe the Rays have been undefeated on August 1st. This ball, okay, who cares? It's a guy catching a ball at a stadium. What's the big deal? Well, as I mentioned, there was a family right ahead of me. They had 2 children. Now, from my perspective, I think a very important part of the story is, of course, neither had a glove. If you would like a ball at a game, it would make sense you would bring the object that you use to catch it, especially because most children who are fans of sports tend to play them, right? Gloves, cheap ones, inexpensive as well. And of course, very much heightens your chance of getting a ball because you can always signal, hey, can you throw that over here, please? Now, the father and the mother ahead of me are kind of, in a whisper bickering about this whole situation, saying, oh my gosh, can't believe he didn't give it over. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Well, why would I give it over? It's my ball. If you want to take offense to anyone, ask the old man who was sitting next to me, right? He gave this to the Rays fan rather than his own, grandson, presumably, because it would make sense that the only time a guy from the Rays tossed one into our section, it would be to the only guy around wearing Rays gear. This is, an ongoing thing back and forth throughout the entire night, to the point that my family is starting to speak up, right? And things are getting heated, and every now and again I'm trying to, between innings, go and, get a picture of me at the stadium, chilling by the field. After countless, back and forth, little bickers, little hushes, little shush here, maybe a little, a little itsy bitsy. Ultimately, the wife finally did the nice thing and told Buddy to calm back down. It's one baseball. You guys live here. You can get there anytime you want. Get a ball anytime you need. Of course, the one guy from out of state, not too far, of course, coming from Pennsylvania, but regardless, isn't really going to have this chance too often. Let them have it. Those kids will get their chance in the future. But, overall, Boston, quite a nice experience. We got to stay at a hotel that was right next door to the park, essentially just a quick little walk down, and even had very nice views of the stadium, from our room. And this is, of course, a very nice experience. Boston, very historical city, and being from Philly myself, having a lot of experience with these historical cities, it was quite nice to be able to sort of walk through, see these very interesting monuments. There's a lot of different, tours and walks you can go on, many of which will take you through a lot of these different historical areas. Unfortunately, at the time, Fenway Hall was under construction, so there were some buildings, of course, that you couldn't get very nice pictures of, except, the Cheers bar and then the second Cheers bar were both open, which is, fun for anyone that was a fan of that TV show. One thing you got to give the Red Sox credit for, Fenway is quite the amazing place. Very historical. I believe the second oldest park in baseball still, after Wrigley Field. And, it's maintained very well. The scoreboard, of course, such a unique feature. The views are very fun. I was a little scared, to be honest with you, sitting on top of the Green Monster during that part of the tour. But, it was very nice also seeing sort of some of the musicians they highlighted who had played at Fenway Park, including my favorite, Beach Boys. One other interesting thing they taught us about Fenway was all of the different sort of sporting events that had also taken place at Fenway, times when baseball games were not being played at the stadium, including even practice for the Olympic ski jumps, which, I don't know if you've ever been to a baseball field, but it's much less space than you would think necessary to do Olympic ski jumping. The Red Sox, of course, also had a very nice gift shop located directly next to the stadium on the street, and a very nice gift shop, of course, focused on the team there, but with little goodies here and there for, fans of other teams. And the hat selection, in these fan stores are always quite wide, which is fun. And this is where I got mine recently at Tropicana Field. Got the nice little World Series patch, and perhaps, I'll be getting another one of these with a 2021 World Series champion by the end of the season. We shall see. My mom, not asking me for a backup hat of any kind on this trip, had to purchase a Red Sox, floral hat, which is a very funny image, of course, because she's bickering with the family in front of us, sitting next to one of the only guys wearing Rays stuff in the area. But, beyond baseball, of course, I did very much enjoy Boston. Beyond the historical things, there's also very interesting smaller tourist attractions on the way, including this very interesting piece of art about, colored glass and a depiction of the globe as it was back in the 1940s. And due to the shape of the room and some of the sound properties of glass, comes up with very interesting auditory illusions. And it's such a, interesting tourist site that they don't even let you take pictures inside of it in order to not sort of spoil the effect or the views for anyone, that would like to attend it. There's a little back and forth as to the, history of the building and the lady that founded it. But regardless, very interesting tourist attraction. I would recommend Fenway, even if you're not a fan of the Red Sox. So ultimately, of course, very thankful there was no fist fight. Very thankful to, of course, gotten a ball. Again, my only Major League Baseball. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. Ring that bell if you want to get notifications about videos as they come out. I've been Evan Davis, and please add some music to your day.
I took a walk and sat down in a park. A gardener walked out and the sprinklers went on. I watered the lawn and I went to sleep. 10:30 I turned my radio on. Some group was playing a musical song. It wasn't too long and I